Ladies and gents, it's Sunday and it's time for an alternative paper review. First up to the Sunday Express today, Keir Starmer says, I will keep the pension triple lock. Oh, careful guys. Like, has somebody at the Sunday Express had an episode or something? Like, why are they putting out pro-Labour content on the front page? Because pensioners, and Keir Starmer committing to safeguard their income, and it's saying Starmer goes for grey vote with a 5-year pledge. This newspaper normally just funnels out, just repeats. It's like this newspaper is in a seance and it's just speaking in tongues, whatever is going on in CCHQ. That is the Express's normal vibe. It is these guys who are always saying, like, Brexit benefits are just around the corner and let the British lion roar, says Boris. Heroic pictures of Rishi in front of a Union Jack saying that he's going to be Prime Minister for years. But now, here they are, Labour leaders' big election promise. I don't know, it's just really weird, isn't it? It's like seeing Damon Albarn come on stage and play Wonderwall. Next up to the Sunday Times. Threat to MPs over cash for blood victims. Now this is in relation to the contaminated blood scandal, where just, regular innocent people went into their GPs or into hospitals to get their blood work done, and they came away having been contaminated with conditions. And anyway, here we are now, years, decades later, they're looking for compensation, but the government is saying, right, obviously we should right this wrong. These poor souls deserve to be compensated. Absolutely they do. It's had a detrimental effect on their life. I'm sure of it, probably by shortening it substantially. However, even though we agree that they should get some compensation, which we estimate to be somewhere between 4 billion and 22 billion, if we vote to give that money to them right now, that is money that we won't then have for tax cuts. That is literally what they're saying. They're saying, look, we need to give some compensation to these people. We understand that. But if we do, we don't have money to then reduce national insurance or whatever. And we're super close to an election, guys. Like, it is literally like saying, I'm sorry your son died because we jabbed him with the wrong needle, but, I'm going to need to take the money from you that you probably would have spent on your astronomical care home fees, and I'm going to give it to this guy for a tax cut that we obviously can't afford. I mean, does nobody join the dots on this stuff? Like, here we are saying if we take 5 billion away from the Treasury, that's going to jeopardise your tax cuts. Was anybody saying that? Anyone? When they were babbling about 75 billion going on defence earlier this week? Anyone?
Prince Andrew's a nonce burger.
Next up, we go to the Sunday Telegraph, who report on the ITN journalist who had a stroke while reporting the news. And although this might seem like a sort of heartfelt, compassionate reaction to a very professional journalist kind of, toughing it out while on camera, he had the stroke, but he was still reporting. I am personally finding it difficult to not interpret this as part of a wider narrative. Do you remember yesterday on the paper review, I was talking about King Charles and how he's going back to work, even with the cancer. Oh, he's 75, isn't he? Or 77, however old he is. He's going back to work, though. So you should too, right? All of this removing the sick note stuff from Rishi Sunak and everything. This might be part of that too, What do you mean you can't go back to work because you're in a wheelchair? Because you suffer from anxiety and depression. You've only got one arm and no legs. What are you talking about? This guy just toughed it out, even while he was having a stroke. And I'm sorry to report that I probably fall into this narrative weaving myself. I mean, here I am, reporting, ranting and railing about the news here for you every day. And I'm doing it during suffering crushing mental health challenges. Elsewhere in the Telegraph, Robert Jenrick says cap migrants at tens of thousands. Way! And we're back. We've come full circle, haven't we? We're back to one of the greatest hits again. This time it's Robert Jenrick. You might have previously heard this hit sung by David Cameron, Theresa May, Priti Patel, and now it's leadership hopeful Robert Jenrick's turn. Well, I don't see any reason why we can't reduce these figures from the hundreds of thousands down to the tens of thousands. Right, Bobby. Right, yeah, that's interesting. Because I don't see any reason why, come the general election, we can't reduce your income from the hundreds of thousands down to the tens of thousands. I mean, that would be perfect for me. People ask me what sort of result I want from the general election. I want that. I want to see card-carrying, witless, moronic, mean-spirited Tories voted out of office, thrown onto the employment scrap heap, and forced to claim for benefits that they themselves railed against mere weeks beforehand. I absolutely do want that in my heart. I mean, like, this is a guy, right, Genric, this is the guy who ordered the removal of the Mickey Mouse mural from the Children's Refugee Centre because he said he didn't want it to be too welcoming. That was him. Okay, so excuse me if what I want is to vote him out of office, throw him on the employment scrap heap, and then, do you know what? I want to collect the excrement from refugee children and I want to paint it over his own front door so it's not too welcoming.